Okay, very good evening to all. This is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta, and this is the River City Arc's slow scan television net that meets every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the 441.30 megahertz repeater in Sacramento, and also live streamed on our YouTube channel. Our website is November6NovemberAlpha.org, N6NA.org. And if you want to watch us on YouTube, you can go there and click on the link that goes to our live stream. So we do this every Wednesday as a way to practice our skills in image mode transmissions. So I'm standing in here as both doing the live stream on YouTube and net control. So do we have any stations who wish to check in at this time? Please come now with your call sign.
Alpha India 6 Delta Golf, Joel and Florin.
Okay, we have Alpha India 6 Delta Golf. Thank you very much, Joel. Any other check-ins for slow scan? Okay, looks like we probably going to have a short net here tonight. We do have a check-in on the live chat. That's Craig, Whiskey Papa 2 November, down in Louisiana, who's saying hi there on our YouTube channel. Any other check-ins for the slow scan net before we proceed to send pictures? Over. Okay, nothing heard. Oh, we have November 6 Alpha Charlie Uniform, who just sent us a message on our live chat. Good evening. We'll check in on RF, but don't have the PL tone. And I'll go ahead and give that to you right now. That would be right in the chat that you typed in. And so November 6 Alpha Charlie Uniform. Mark should be joining us here shortly. So, Joel, first I want to ask you, do you have a picture lined up and ready to send? Over.
Did I have time?
Yeah, affirmative. Good, good solid tone. Go ahead, over.
PD 120.
Okay, got a really good picture there. I think I probably lost the first 5 to 10 seconds because my Vox kicked in and cut off the very beginning, and that's because I'm just juggling too many things here, doing the net control and live stream, so I was able to kill my microphone here about 5 seconds into that transmission, but it looks like a pretty good picture. I've got two people sitting at a table. It looks like in a park. Uh, I wonder if that's Anders. It looks like it might be Anders sitting there. It's kind of hard for me to see, but I think I read November Romeo 6 Hotel on the back of that Go box that's open up. So let's see. Let's see. Maybe we have N6ACU was going to get in on RF, and I wonder if Mark, you're with us. Can you please check in if you're there? Over.
Good evening, Carol. This is Mark, November 6, Alpha Charlie Uniform. Thank you for inviting me to join you and supplying me with the PL tone. It's my first time doing SSTV, and I've been lurking, monitoring you guys for the last couple weeks, so I thought I'd jump in tonight.
Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate you jumping in. I was wondering if you have, are you equipped to decode the pictures, and if so, would you let us know what you've received? Over.
Yes, I did receive an image from AI6DG. It's two gentlemen, looks like field day. My picture is a little bit slightly skewed in one spot, and it's got a little bit of some horizontal lines, but I can make most of the image out. I see a table, what looks to be a travel case of some sort, a red chair, and some miscellaneous equipment on the table. I can't quite make out the detail very well on my small monitor that I have here. Over.
Okay, yeah, I'm wondering what kind of software and interface are you using between the radio and the computer. Over.
I'm using SSTV version 1.13, running on an old version of Windows 7, and I'm interfacing through a Signalink USB sound card into my Yaesu FT857.
Okay, very good. That's my setup here is also a Signalink, and I'm also using the same version of SSTV. If you're getting some slant in your picture, one way that you can remedy that is you can go into the little picture window, I believe, and activate the auto slant correction. And I don't know if I could do that on mine right now, but there is a way you can go in there. I don't seem to, for some reason, I can't bring that up on mine. But I believe if you right click on the picture, you have an option of activating the auto slant correction, and that might help with that. Usually the reason for that is the clock on your computer is a little bit offset from what the transmitting station's clock is. So let me turn it back over to Joel and see if you would want to fill us in on what this picture is about. AI6DG, this is KP4MD.
So this is past weekend, past Saturday, Wichard Field Day. You can see it was a beautiful, nice, sunny day. We're out in the park. That's Anders sitting down, and I forget the name of the gentleman standing next to him. He's been at a couple of our events. But Anders got a nice little, pretty small setup. You can see his Go box on the left, the cart to the right, the blue cart that he moved it in. It's a beach cart, really neat, foldable, big tires, go over almost anything. He's got his Zygu X6100 in there, and an audio system, and a little chrono screen to know where the gray line is. In the middle of the table, in the front of him, facing us with the round vent, that's the ugly filter that we were using. One of the ugly filters we were using. I don't know if that's the 10-meter one. It might be the 10-meter one, but protects the multiple transmitters in such a small space from interfering with each other. The little black box to the right of that, on the right front corner of the desk, is actually just a little. That's his connector collection. You know, various connectors and adapters and things. And that actually ended up being used this afternoon a couple of times. In the background on the left, you see Steve and I think it's Mike. They were doing 2-meter and 440 and 220 contacts back there, as well as listening in and enjoying the day. And I was off screen to the left. I had a little pop-up also in a table with my stuff. If we're around long enough, maybe we could send another picture. And I think we all had a great time out there. We had a good turnout. This is North Hills Radio Club doing this, not River City Arcs. Carol, did River City Arcs do anything? Back to Net, AI6TG.
Joel, thank you very much for the description of the picture, and fine on the North Hills Club doing this. The River City Arcs did not have a club activation as such, but there were some individual members who decided on their own to do the Winter Field Day on their own. But none of them are participating here on this net, so I'm afraid we don't have any pictures from that. But this is a good practice exercise for the actual field day event that we do in June. Very good, and thank you so much for sharing that. I was wondering, Mark, what you do is you right-click on the window, MMS STV, and there should be an auto slant option that you can activate, and that should fix that picture and take away the slant. There may have been a little bit of interference at the beginning of the picture when my Vox was keyed, and that might have been a problem you saw at the start of the picture. So over to you, Mark. I wonder if you have any questions about this. Back to you. Over.
KD4MD from N6ACU. Thank you, Carol. Yes, I was able to locate the auto slant adjustment in the pop-up menu when I did the right click. And it also, I realized I had been fiddling around with some settings for the receive mode, and I don't know if maybe that was a contributing factor as well. I am curious. I was looking through the slideshow on the N6NA website for SSTV, and what do you guys have a preferred transmit mode for these images?
Well, for a while we were doing Martin 2. That was years ago, but for the past 2 or 3 years, we've been using PD120. If you want to use a different mode, that's perfectly fine to do, as long as you just announce what you're going to use before you send a picture. Do you have a picture that you're going to send to us, Mark? Over.
Yes, I would like to send one. It's just as a test here to see how this works. Now, on the transmit mode settings, I don't seem to have that PD120. I've got a SC2180, and maybe I could just try it on the Martin 1 for now, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, okay. The way you choose the mode is you go on the where it says RX mode. The top one is auto, and you can go down, and the bottom one, I'm not sure what that defaults as, but if you right click on the bottom button, it'll bring up a whole slew of different modes, and you can choose the one that you want. But if you do the PD120, you're going to have to set up one of the picture windows, you know, on the two rows of pictures in the bottom. You would have to set up one for the size 640 by 496 pixels. And if you don't have anything set up for that, then the PD120 won't particularly work for you. But if you have something already set up and you want to use a different mode, you're certainly welcome to go ahead, and we're ready to copy. We use the Auto RX mode, which should identify what you're sending. So we're ready to copy if you want to send. Over.
Okay, copy that, Carol. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the right-click trick there. I did find that PD120. I do see that the image will need to be modified for next time. Perhaps next week I'll be able to cobble together a few images that are of more interest. Please forgive the lack of interesting image that I'm about to submit here, but here we go. This is N6ACU transmitting first SSTV, Martin 1. Here we go.
Okay, this is KP4MD. Thank you very much, Mark. You'll see, if you're looking on YouTube, you're going to see exactly what I received. And I want to also acknowledge we have another person who joined us on YouTube live chat. That's N6GML, who says good evening to all. Thank you so much for joining us on the live chat. And I'm going to turn it first over to Joel and see if you have any comments about this picture that we got on Martin 1. AI6DG, this is KP4MD. Go ahead.
You get so used to the way PD120 sounds, and that Martin, I know we've used Martin before in the past, but it certainly sounded different. But excellent reception, just a few noise pops from PayPause. It's a test pattern. Greetings, DE N6ACU. And if I remember right, the test pattern is a very famous BBC test pattern, and this little girl was, this image was used for many years by BBC for testing their television signals. I mean, she's probably 50s or 60s now. Amazing that this photo is still being passed around. Back to net, AI6DG. Oh, and excellent first image. Oh, and also The images I've been sending lately usually are going to have a black bar on the top of the bottom, because most of the images I have are not 4x3. They're 16 by 9 or something like that. So they're going to be letterboxed on top and bottom, which is so whatever issues you had, Carol, didn't miss anything because it was all black at the top of that screen anyway. Back to net AI6DG.
Okay, thank you very much, Joel. Yes, an excellent description of a picture. I don't see, I don't hardly see any pixel pops. I mean, I have a perfectly good, clear picture, vivid colors, and no, I was not aware that BBC had a test pattern with a little girl and a little clown doll playing tic-tac-toe. But I want to congratulate you, Mark, on an excellent quality picture. Uh, and Craig, WP2N down in Louisiana, says, a proud dad's photo. N6GML, I guess, is on chat. If he's able to join us on RF, he's certainly welcome to do so. If he's within the area of the repeater, we will stand by and see. N6GML, are you able to join us? Go ahead. No, I guess not. So N6GML is strictly on the live chat. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Mark, and fill us in a little bit more on this. I want to congratulate you on an excellent quality picture. Most people, the first time they send a picture, they're using acoustic coupling. And the picture usually comes with a lot of ghosting, echoes, and smearing. But this is a crystal clear picture. So N6GML says, at work, unable to get on RF. Thank you so much for tagging along and watching us, though. So over to you, Mark. This is Kilo Papa for Mike Delta.
Well, thank you for the congratulations, Carol, and all your encouragement. I'm pleased that the image came across correctly. Joel nailed it. It is indeed the BBC test pattern, apparently quite famous. Unfortunately, I've not dug very deeply into the history of it. I'm sure there's some interesting background. Truth be told, I grabbed it off of Wikipedia this evening in preparation for this evening's net. Just wanted a good multicolored, standard test pattern. So glad it came across. I'm transmitting with 15 watts into a Comet GP1 at about 30 feet above my chimney over here in Arden Arcade area. So it sounds like it came through pretty good. Glad I got the sound card settings. Sounds like they were set pretty well. It's definitely a full power mode, though. The radio got quite warm during that transmission. Glad nothing shut off in the process. Well, thanks again all for letting me join, and I look forward to future nets. KP4MD and AI6DG, N6GML, N6ACU. Thank you again.
Okay, KP4MD here. Any further comments on this before we proceed to our next picture?
Test card F, Carol Hersey, AI6DG back to net.
Okay, thank you for very much for filling us in on that, Joel. And since we're on Martin 1, I'm going to go ahead and send the next picture also, Martin 1. This is KP4MD. Okay, that's my picture. I'm going to turn it over to Mark first. November 6 Alpha Charlie uniform. How did you copy that, and what did you copy? Over.
Okay, I got a nice black and white Charlie Brown cartoon strip. I can't quite make out the upper right panel. It seems to be clipped a little bit by the banner, but it looks like Linus is asking Charlie Brown about what's going on with his radio there. And his answer is very much aligned with what I would often tell my wife when she inquires about what I'm listening to. Looks pretty good. I got a couple little streaks, and I'm not sure if maybe that's coming from the repeater. I notice in voice mode there's kind of some crackles and pops in the background when doing voice transmission, so wondering if that's perhaps contributing a little bit. I used the auto slant feature this time, and it made a couple corrections as well. So curious about the clock synchronization, and need to look into that further. Back to net, N6 ACU.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mark. By the way, I did take the template off that picture, so you can watch. If you look on YouTube, you'll be able to read the entire caption that was covered by part of that template. Over to you, Joel. AI6DG, KP for MD.
Excellent reception. Relatively early Charlie Brown from the style of the drawing. So you got Linus walking by Charlie Brown listening to your radio, and strange symbol coming out of the radio, question mark out of Linus's head. I can't quite read it, the caption, because like was said, the banner is cutting it off, but I think it says, "That for you, Charlie Brown?" And a strange noise coming out of the radio. Next box, more strange noise coming out of the radio. "You keep your hands off this radio." And then in the next box, more strange shapes coming out of the radio. "I like to listen to static." Be interesting, since this is black and white, it'd be interesting to try some of the black and white modes. It would sound weird. It would probably transmit a lot quicker, and it's always surprising how good some of those modes look. Although I think they're all lower resolution. So I'm not sure how that would work out. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MG. The upper right panel, Linus is saying, "Do you want me to fix that for you, Charlie Brown?" Because of course Charlie Brown is listening to noise, static, and yeah, this is a criticism that many of us have with the noises, strange noises coming out of the radio, like the slow scan television tones, and some people just consider it to be annoyance, but for us, many of us, that is actually music. We're used to listening to transmissions that are a little noisy to be able to dig the intelligence out of the transmissions. And Craig says USPS recently released a Peanuts commemorative stamp. Very nice. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, if we can, let me see if I might try one of the black and white modes. Let's see. I think Robot isn't Robot. No, Robot isn't a black and white. That's a color mode. I think Robot is a black and white mode. And let me see what that does. That's 36 seconds. That might be color, but let's try the. Yeah, I'm going to try the Robot 36. So I'm going to resend this picture. Robot 36. This is KP4MD. Here we go. Let's see what you get. Here we go. Okay, you can see the difference. Let's see what you say about the difference. There is a little bit of difference in the aspect. I believe that it does fewer vertical lines, and that's why it automatically clips off part of that picture. But over to you, Joel. How did you receive that, comparing it with the previous one? Over.
Well, it is a color mode, but excellent reception considering how much quicker it was for the transmission. There are some color pops, maybe a few more than before. It seems like the resolution's a little less, but still perfectly readable. And yeah, like you say, we still got the top chopped off. Yeah, back to you, AS6TG.
Okay, now that was the real black and white mode. Joel, go ahead and tell me how does this compare? Over.
That falls back to what I said about the resolution, because it's excellent reception, but the resolution is much lower on it, so it's much harder to read what's going on, and the image quality is degraded. Otherwise, it would be great.
Yeah, that's what you get for a 12-second picture. How did you copy that over there, Mark? N6ACU. Go ahead, it's KP from D.
Well, certainly an interesting comparison between the different modes, just to see, speed of transmission. That last one was just astonishingly fast. It definitely is a lower resolution image. It looks a little pixelated to me, almost, and much harder to make out the copy of the words and the bubbles there. But certainly, I could see where transmitting in that mode would, be effective and efficient. You'd have to make sure it's something that's not terribly detailed, though. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. It came across, clean. I didn't see any sort of extra pixels or anything like that. Back to net, N6ACU.
Okay, thank you. It was a good demonstration of the difference between color and black and white modes, and using the old monochrome modes, black and white 24. There's a much quicker one, black and white 12, which would be much coarser than this. But of course, for small text, it really makes it very difficult to read the text. The original slow scan TV pictures that were sent back in the 1960s were all monochrome, because the monitors that they used back there were monochrome cathode ray tubes, and they generally use the P7, which is a long persistence phosphor, to be able to hold the image on the screen for the entire duration of the transmission. So it's a kind of, if you remember seeing the old movies where they showed radar screens sweeping in a circle around a CRT, they used long persistence phosphors to hold the image while it was doing the sweep of the 360 degrees. And that kind of phosphor worked well for the slow scan TV images. Very good. Let's see. We've done one complete round, and that's normally what we do here on our net. We'll give anybody a chance if they have another picture they want to share. We do have plenty of time here. We can go ahead and do that. Anybody else has another picture they would like to send? This is KP for MD.
I've got another one from Winter Field Day that's showing the two stations and some of the antennas.
Okay, that's fine, Joel. If you want to go ahead, we're ready to receive. This is KP4MD. Go ahead, please.
PD 120.
Okay, very well received here. Very clear picture. I'll turn it over to Mark to see if you how you received it and any comments on this. November 6th, Alpha Charlie Uniform. KP Friendly, go ahead.
Yeah, image was copied pretty well. It looks very clear. Nice blue skies, sunshine. Looks like maybe an inverted V antenna in the background. I also see what looks to be like an orange tripod. Can't quite make that out in detail. I also see a couple operators under an easy up in the shade there. Looks like a good time, actually.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to say what I see. I see one mast in the foreground with a coaxial cable going up, and it looks like an inverted V on that one. And then that other mast, a little further in the distance, another inverted V. Actually, the feed point looks like it's a little bit off center. It's hanging down a little bit below the peak there, it looks like. So I wonder if that's an off center fed antenna. And operating position there in the foreground and that canopy on the left, and then on the right side there's another canopy, with a blue top, and it looks like you have the club banner on there for the North Hills Radio Club, the yellow banner. And I wonder if that canopy is tilted. It doesn't look like it's straight. It looks like one side might be higher than the other. Interesting that you took this picture facing the sun, and you actually have the sun in the picture itself. It's unusual to do that because a lot of times that glare kind of like washes out the rest of the picture. But it turned out relatively good. So we'll turn it over to you, Joel, and see what comments you have. Let me check on live chat. Nothing on live chat there. So back to you, Joel, KP4MD.
That's a good observation about the sun actually being in, and not only in that direction, but in the picture. And it's just an indication of just how far this is a cell phone, and cameras in general, photographic sensors have come a really long ways, because you didn't used to be able to do this, to be able to have a photo with the sun in it and still be able to see anything. So that's Anders on the left and his pop-up, and so we're looking from behind the photo that I sent earlier, and his antenna is that near thing on the right, that's with the orange stuff at the base. And the orange things are little guys that hold the rest of it up, and he's got an off-center fed, I think it's like a G5RV, and one of those lines you can see actually going through the sun. And the other side of that is going off to the right somewhere off screen. Off the top of the mast, you don't see it. But you can see the feed line, the ladder line feed line coming down just to the right of the mast. Somewhere there must be some coax. I don't know where the conversion happens. And then, yes, the pop-up is tilted. I do that so that I get better sun protection. Otherwise, the sun just shines in sideways through the side of it, and I end up with absolutely no protection at all. It just doesn't do any good to be sitting in the sun underneath a pop-up. And the mast off in the background has 3 guys going to the top of it, and an ed-fed antenna going off towards the left to another mast that's off in the trees. I know where the mast is, but you probably can't see it between resolution and not knowing what to look for. And then, there's the matchbox for the end-fed is the blob that's a little bit underneath the top of the mast to the left, and the coax coming down from it. Really good. A good day, good weather. I had a little bit of problems keeping warm sometimes since I was so much in the shade underneath the pop-up, but not as bad as the tests we did the week before. And I was on 15 meters, tons of stations to operate. Little bit of problem with noise and fading in and out, but I got Hawaii, I got Barbados, I got lots of East Coast stations. The only thing I didn't really get a lot of was West Coast stations. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, AI6DG's KP4MD, thank you for that description. I want to make an observation. It looks to me like both of those inverted V-type setups, masts, are not too far apart. I don't know what the separation is there. I'd be curious, maybe 30, 40 feet apart from each other. And they look kind of like they're both broadside to each other. In other words, the main lobe or radiation lobe from each antenna is going to be, the other antenna is going to be in each radiation lobe, which would put a lot of RF from one station into the other's receiver. So that's unusual. Usually when we have stations that close, we try to orient the antennas so that one is at right angles to the other, so we don't have, we try to minimize the amount of RF going into the nearby station. Am I reading that right? Over?
Well, it's not 90 to each other. They're probably more like 60 to each other. We did try to be them facing as much different directions as possible. And 30 or 40 feet apart, that's about right. But we also had the ugly filters on both stations. That makes a huge difference.
Okay, yeah, that's very good, because besides, if you don't have those filters, the bandpass filters, sometimes you'll get phase noise from one radio really causing problems. That's more if you're in the same band. But sometimes you get spurious noise coming out of the transmitter that, especially if there's enough of a signal coming in on the front end of the receiver, it can cause some difficulty with reception. I'm glad that those filters worked out well for you. Are there any other questions or comments from anyone on the net about these pictures? It's KP for MD. Okay, nothing heard. We did have a comment on our live stream. From N6GML. Enjoyed watching as always. Learned more about this mode. Thank you all, and great job, 73. So that's very kind feedback we got there on our live chat. Any other? Oh yes, Craig says thanks to all who kept me awake this past hour, but it's late. I know it's much later in Louisiana than it is here. Goodbye for now. 73 from Craig, WP2N. Any final comments before we close the net from anyone here on the repeater? This is KP for MD.
Carol, I just wanted to thank you again for your cordial welcome to the group today. I've always wanted to do some SSTV, and finally had my opportunity to do that, and hoping to get together some more interesting images for the weeks ahead. It was a great pleasure. KP4MD, this is N6ACU. Thanks again, and have a good evening.
Okay, Mark, N6ACU, this is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta, and you're always welcome here. Congratulations on your first image today, and we're looking forward to further exchanging images with you, and it's a great learning opportunity and a good way to keep our skills going. If you can find some interesting topics to share, we always like something that discusses things related to amateur radio. Otherwise, it's fine as well. Joe likes to do a lot of pictures from Yosemite and places he's been, and he's teaching us a little bit about his kind of experiences there. So, good. At this point, we'll go ahead and secure the net. This is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta, Carroll, Citrus Heights, California, with the River City Arcs slow scan television net. This net meets every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the 441.30 megahertz N6NA repeater in Sacramento, California, and it's also live streamed on the River City Arcs YouTube channel. And if you want to check this net, you can do it. Check the recording on our channel, and there's a link to that on our website, which is n6na.org. Thanks to everyone who participated, and we'll see you again next Wednesday. This is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta, now closing the net, 73.